Hey everybody! Oh, you wanted music with that video? The old Isaac can't come to the phone. Why? Because it's muted. Well, anyway. Twitter memes aside, welcome back. We got our butt kicked last time on the verge of a double-digit streak. We messed it up. Pardon me. We have characters that need bringing up to speed. Maggie is just in a terrible position. We could actually do a light side Maggie run, which I think we should, just so I don't, Fortan Zwig. There you go. Just so I don't, not only forget, but, like, I'd rather not switch back and forth between the Polaroid and the negative as much as I have to. Like, we've done a few negative runs, but if we knock out all the Polaroid runs in advance, we should be maybe a little bit more mentally in a good spot because we're bundling those tasks together. That's my impression, either way. Did you know? I'm gonna start this with a weird anecdote. I mean, it's not really an anecdote, it's a question. A movie came out a couple of weeks ago. It's called American Assassin. There's another movie that comes out this weekend. It's starring Tim Cruise. Maybe you've heard of him. Tim Cruise, you know, the famous Scientologist. It's called American Made. I had to go look it up because I only just saw the trailer. American Made's fast and loose attitude with its real-life story mirrors the cavalier and delightfully watchable energy Tom Cruise gives off in the leading role. Barry Seal, a TWA pilot, is recruited by the CIA to provide reconnaissance on the burgeoning communist threat in Central America, and soon finds himself in charge of one of the biggest covert CIA operations in the history of the United States. I say this, I bring up this anecdote because I have a question for you that you might be able to solve. How many movies, let's say from the year like 1990 until today, start with the word American? I can think of so many. American Hustle, all of the American Pie movies. What was the one, American, written by Max Landis, I think? I can't remember. It had Jesse Eisenberg in it. It's not American Graffiti, obviously. It's American something. I can't remember. American McGee's Alice. The Americans. I'm not trying to say that the country is full of itself. By and large, trust me. You know, Canada has a lot of national pride as well. We got movies like, you know, My Winnipeg. It just strikes me that American is like this ubiquitous word you can always use. And I know if you're outside of North America, you're probably saying, but Canada's part of America. You take that back, that's slanderous. I can understand because it's a relatable thing. You know, when a Canadian says, you know, Finland is part of Scandinavia, and everyone that's from Scandinavia goes, no, Finland is part of the Nordic countries, but it's not part of Scandinavia. And I go, oh, but it was in the Kalmar Union. And they go, no, the Kalmar Union was different than Scandinavia. And I go, okay, but they're all Baltic. And they go, no, the Baltic countries are different. Dude, sure, let's throw that in like a heartbeat. It's the same thing. I know, it's confusing. Canada is in North America, but it is not America. If you're from Brazil, you're not American. You're South American, but you're not American. I know it seems like America would be a superset, and then South America would be a subset. It's not the case. In our colloquial verbiage, only people from the United States of America are American. It's weird, I know. I wish we could just change the continent name. Because it seems, how can you not? And I'm not saying this to be insulting to United States of Americans. How can you not think that your country is that important? Or more important than other countries, I should say. You are on a continent called the United States, or, pardon me, you're on a continent called North America. Below you is a continent called South America. What's your country called? The United States of America. That's like in Africa. You know, there's South Africa. I feel like we need some new continent names. They are descriptive, and I'm not, I mean, this is probably like ignoring a lot of, you know, history and culture and et cetera, et cetera. Mostly I'm just making a joke here. It meant to be a relatively good-natured joke, but, you know, you learn about all these countries growing up. Just walk into them, dude. Crush them. This, I'm using Turdy Touch to do, like, all my damage because this is annoying. How can you not feel like you're at the center of the universe? It seems like you're the crown jewel in the collection of the continent. If you're named after the continent itself, what is all the other countries, what are they doing? You know, what's Canada called? You know, the northernmost attic of North America? No, we're called Canada. What's Mexico called? You know, the boot of America? The necktie of America? No, it's called Mexico. What's the middle country called? The United States of America. It's just not fair to the rest of us in terms of, like, country names. Les États-Unis, you know? Like, come on. I'm not saying that America should annex us. I love our neighbors to the south. Most of the time. Spend a lot of time in your country. Ooh, now we're talking. We can make gold poop by walking into enemies. Not very applicable on this floor because we really want to get our deal with the devil, but might be able to use it in a pinch to get a bunch of money and maybe buy something from the shop on this floor. What we would really benefit from, actually, is if we could get IV bag, which could happen, or if we could... ooh, careful. Or if we could get, like, Gimpy, for example, or the virus would also be good, or Maw of the Void, something along these lines might get it handled for us. That could be good, actually. I'm just saying, look, this bit, it's a little Seinfeldian. I don't know if it's going anywhere. Seinfeldish, Seinfeldian, you get the idea. But I think there's some meat to that. Like, there's no country in Asia that's called, like, you know, West Asia. Africa's a bad example. There's no country in South America that's like United States of America. That would be strange, right? I don't know. Maybe there's something to it, maybe there's not. I'm happy to live in Canada, though. I don't want to live in the namesake. You know, I like... When you grow up Canadian, you have a cultural identity that's a little distinct, I think, from the United States of America. In that, your cultural identity pretty much consists of ice hockey, being nice to people, and also not being the United States of America. Let's grab this. Let's grab this. We don't need Yum Heart for anything. You could almost make a case for my shadow, but I'm going to abstain for now. I think that's for the best as we progress here. So let's look for an arcade, and if we can get one, IV bag would be 10 out of 10. I doubt we will get one, but I'm also going to actually take some time because, keep in mind, we would expect to be able to buy probably one Spirit Heart per floor. So we might as well, as long as we have Spirit Hearts left over, we might as well walk into enemies once per floor, as long as we have the keys necessary to get into the shop. And, of course, this time we can't get one. Makes me look like a dang fool, but that's fine. We get Tarot Cloth nonetheless, a lovely selection, and then Hierophant, which gave us 4 Spirit Hearts, so you know what, that'll handle it. The coupon... I think other people tend to like the coupon more than I like the coupon. I don't think it's that good. Oh, sorry, I mean, I don't think it's that well. Hey, have you heard of the new song from the Matthew Good Band? Oh, me an intellectual. You mean the Matthew Well Band? Have you heard the new track from Kanye West's label, Good Music? Oh, you mean W.E.L.L music? I don't think this is gonna work. I'm trying, though. Let me caffeinate. Joke's on you, sheep. It's water. Ain't no caffeine going on in here, and you believe me. Last time you trust anybody on the internet. But then I guess it's confusing, right? Like, I just think... The reason that countries have borders the way that they are is because of, you know, the groups of people that live there, the language they speak, the culture that they have, and then also the events of wars from, like... Yeah, we should re-roll this. Oh, that's extremely good. The results of wars from, like, you know, 500 to 800 years ago, right? It creates for some confusing situations. Like, for example, there is a continent named Europe. There is a administrative body called the European Union. Not all countries in Europe are in the European Union. Make it even more confusing, Europe is connected to Asia. There's countries that are in Europe, there's countries that are in Asia, and then there's countries that are in Eurasia. Does that mean they're in both? Does it mean they're in neither? I don't know. Like Russia is like, it's tomato. You know, tomato, it's a fruit sometimes, it's a vegetable sometimes. Sometimes Russia's in Asia, sometimes Russia's in Europe. Sometimes it's in both, maybe sometimes it's in neither. On top of that, within the European Union, you've got countries that you can travel to without actually requiring a passport. Schengen nations. You got the United Kingdom. It includes England, Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland. What happened? Southern Ireland? Not a part of it, despite being the same landmass. By the way, United Kingdom in Europe, not a part of the European Union. Or is it? Nobody knows. Like, this is the kind of stuff we gotta pay somebody to solve these problems for us. It's ridiculous. I don't want to get into Scandinavia because it just makes other people mad and then it makes me mad. Because I know, you know, I've been to Iceland. I know that's not Scandinavia, but I've been to Iceland, I've been to Sweden, and I've followed, you know, international hockey for like 28 years. Not professionally, obviously, but you get the idea. Even still, you know, I try to show respect to Norway, Sweden, Finland, etc., etc. They take offense to it when I don't know what Scandinavia is, what's a Baltic country, what used to be in the Kalmar Union, what's a Nordic country. Iceland's sort of in there, but it's not, and it's also far away, like... Greenland's icy, but Iceland's green. Or is it? Not really. Like, we got all these confusing rules that don't make any sense. Everybody watching this is probably like, please just shut up. You're making yourself look ignorant. That's what bothers me. I want it to be easier. We've made all these complicated rules. In terms of geography, I'm actually, I know what's going on. I'm worldly with respect to a map. Maybe less so with respect to travel, but I've been around a little bit. I've flown over both oceans. Both of the 6 oceans. How many oceans are there? Atlantic, Pacific, Arctic, Southern Ocean. People always forget about that one. Indian Ocean. 5 oceans? The Atlantic and the Pacific really get most of the credit from a North American standpoint. Anyway, I promise I'm not gonna do 45 minutes of improv about maps, as much as I'm tempted to. Asia's a little simpler, I think. They got less rules that I'm aware of, at least. I mean, sure, you got South Korea, North Korea. That's, you know, you got one special case to remember there. Well, that's not true. You got Tibet. You got Taiwan. You got Hong Kong. Hong Kong used to be owned by the British, which would make it a former territory of a European country that's not part of the European Union. But I feel like we're trying to, like, explain Kingdom Hearts now. Which I would never dare to do because, you know, I've played Kingdom Hearts 1. I have a great anecdote about Kingdom Hearts 1. I played it. It came out in, like, 2002, I think, which was right around the time that, you know, I would say advancing from, like, adolescence to teenage years around that area. And my friend always bought, like, critically acclaimed games. He was, like, the guy who would read reviews and be like, why are you buying this? You should buy this instead. GamePro gave it a 5 out of 5. So he bought the first Kingdom Hearts, very well-respected game. I borrowed it. I beat it. And then after that, I beat the game. I handed it back to him in 9th grade science class. And he acted like I was trying to give him drugs. Because I guess, like, the idea of playing a Final Fantasy plus Disney game at the time, a little bit of, like, poison, maybe, socially speaking, to the opposite sex. He was like, dude, what are you doing? Keep it down. I mean, he took the game back because he owns it, but he's like, you're gonna, like, blow my street cred, basically. I didn't even think about it at the time. In hindsight, kind of hilarious, though. It didn't ruin his cred too much. He's married now. And so am I, so... hey, we're the cool ones, apparently. You hear that, kids? You want to be cool? Just get married. When the time is right. Oh, you know what? We got tarot cloths, so let's pop strength. And I really, really want to make IV bag happen here. Even more so than the D6. I think we'll get there one day. You know what? Blow this guy up, blow this guy up. Fill... Ooh, lucky us. It's not as much as I wanted there, but can work with it. Problem is now we don't have the strength card backing us up. We still got, like, quite a lot of money for it. Little bit behind schedule for boss rush, and luckily we don't actually need to do boss rush. Doesn't mean I wouldn't like the opportunity, but we'll see. Put that down there. And hopefully get, like, 2 of diamonds. Ace of clubs. I don't want to be a naysayer, and I respect that anything that makes the balance of the game a little bit more tilted towards making the game difficult without compromising the fun factor is a good thing for Isaac. Because the game, I don't think I'm going to ruffle too many feathers here. It's probably a little too easy if you played a bunch of it. You know, it's very easy to engineer yourself a victory on a regular basis. However, I don't really like the inclusion of the Ace of Blank cards. Because they just make you excited, and then you realize they're garbage. What's the average payout from like an Ace of Clubs? You turn like 5 cents into 5 bombs. Wow, what a return on investment. I don't necessarily think they're like a bad addition, but the way that they tilt the balance of how you feel when you get a card kind of annoys me. Okay, we're 1 away from becoming Guppy. Because normally it used to be like, oh, 2 of something that is probably useful. Or it could be a 2 of Hearts, which most of the time is garbage. Or it could be a Joker card. Or it could be a Chaos card. Or it could be a Suicide King. Or it could be Cards Against Humanity. You know, there were only a few different outcomes, and most of them were like pretty positive. Now it's like, oh good, the Ace of Blanks. If you'd like to gamble, I'll tell you I'm your man. Win some, lose some, it's all the same to me. Lemmy, you're a terrible gambler. Or maybe that's a good attitude for gambling, now that I think about it. Win some, lose some, it's all the same to me. You know, you know your limits, stay within it, treat it as entertainment. It's probably a positive thing. Did you know, and I'm saying this without judgment, did you know that there is a fairly robust community for streaming online casinos on Twitch? Most of the streams are in Russian. I was saying, you know, again, my wife's been away. So I've been gambling all our money away at these online casinos. No, I've been watching a lot more Twitch. Because I'm sitting alone in my office all night, you know, in advance of crying myself to sleep. And I was watching the stream. I watched a man spin a virtual slot machine. It is for real money. I don't know where they do it, but he was spinning a slot machine like all night. Barely talking. It was a very strange thing for me. And Twitch is like, it's not quite good enough. It's still not quite good enough. Let's donate a little. We're not doing Boss Rush anyway. Twitch is a little weird in general, you know? When you try to explain it to people, you go, yeah, I play, you know, video games on the internet. They go, people watch that? Well, take it a step further. What if you were like, yeah, I spin a slot machine for like 8 hours a night. Sometimes I win a couple $100, sometimes I lose a few $100. But people will just sit there and watch me win or lose money. I'm not, by the way, don't take this as naysaying at all. Mostly because, again, those in glass houses. What are you watching? The 500th episode of me playing Afterbirth Plus right now? I'm not, those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Might surprise you. Contrary to my persona on the NLSS, not a very genuinely judgmental person. I don't, for the most part, as long as what you do in your life doesn't harm me or harm other people, I'm a pretty okay guy to, you know, copacetic. If you're like, I'm a professional origami artist, I'd be like, that's amazing. Behind your back, I might be like, I met somebody who's a professional origami artist. Isn't that a little strange? That's as deep as it's gonna get, but yeah, I just had no idea. I was on Twitch at like 11 p.m. Nobody that I knew was streaming at the time. Look at the most played games, casino. And then there's people just spinning a virtual slot machine. And I'm not even talking about Counter-Strike Global Offensive loot boxes. Hi-yo! But seriously. Just another little oddity in this world we've carved for ourselves here. There is something like, I don't want to say sad, but there's something melancholy about it, I guess. When you see someone lose, like I saw a dude pull out like $700 from his bank account. And I think you gotta just accept that there's nothing you can do about it, and maybe he doesn't even have a problem. But at the same time, I was like, I feel for that, because that dude I feel weird when I go to an ATM and I take out like $100. This dude just took out $700 to gamble with. Live on Twitch.tv. I guess it's not against like the Twitch terms of service either. Like, I'm assuming it's legal in the country in which you reside. I'm pretty sure that's how they keep their hands clean. But who knows? Maybe there's some nights, you know, he pulls out 700. Some other nights he wins, you know, 1,200. I don't know. It was an unusual experience for me. I'm not saying they shouldn't be able to do it, just that it was something I've never experienced before. I also feel like they were partnered. And I'm not, again, I want to, the glass houses thing I'm leaning on a little bit here, but it's true. Because, like, it's a service, but when you, like, subscribe to somebody, you could be like, oh, he's just gonna gamble it away. Maybe. But is that any different than, you know, people donating and, you know, you're opening Hearthstone packs or something like that? Probably not. In fact, in many ways, gambling is probably a better use of your money. Because gambling, I mean, I am, like, pretty risk averse. I'm not a gambler really at all. But it's a better investment than video games some of the time. Like, if you put $100, you know, down on a roulette table, or you put $100 into, like, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds crates on the Steam Marketplace, which one do you think's coming out with more expected value? Probably, well, maybe not roulette, but, you know, if you put it down on a blackjack table or something like that, you're probably in a better spot. That's why people go, like, you know, all these video games are, like, bordering on gambling with their microtransactions. I'm like, bordering on gambling? They're worse! Nobody's making any money! Dude, we got, well, that's not true. The people who have, you know, 100,000 Battlegrounds accounts and just farm BP are probably making a little bit of money. Dude, please. By the way, the egghead looks ridiculous on this one. Of course, you'll always lose. If you gamble enough, and you're not a professional, which is, I guess, really something you can only attain maybe in poker or in blackjack, but they can also, like, kick you out of the casino. I think that's, like, there's all those stories of, like, these guys learn how to count cards, and they got really good at it, they get kicked out of the casinos. How's that fair? I understand the casino's there to, like, make their own money. Nothing wrong with that. It's a service. I can understand how it could be entertaining. But, like, they're just using their noggin. You know, if somebody's really bad at blackjack and they're like, you know, hey, I'm on 19, hit me. And the dealer's like, I really suggest you stay. And they're like, nah, hit me. They're not going to kick him out of the casino for being too bad. They're like, oh, we just don't feel good about taking your money. This isn't fair. Somebody, you know, learns how to count cards. They got a statistically slightly increased advantage. Oh, dude, Safety Scissors was awesome here with the tower. We got lucky, I'd say, but still 21 bombs, not bad. Casino, just, you can kick them out. I guess they can deny service to anybody, but can they? Probably. I mean, it's not like it's a fundamental human right. It's not like they're denying you, like, food and water. I guess the other alternative is you could just let them stay forever and then they'll bankrupt you. Probably not bankrupt. That's a strong statement. You know what they should do? If I ran a casino, here's what I'd do. Because everybody in a casino, I think, they either know or they should know that the house always wins. Casino has a statistical advantage in every game in the house. Even blackjack, when played perfectly, is something like, you know, 50.8% in the casino's advantage. What I would do, and this is why the government will never let me own a casino, because this proposal would definitely get crapped on. I would make it so that one table in the whole casino, every night, selected at random, actually had, like, a 55 to 45 advantage for the player, but I wouldn't tell anybody what table it was. And this is why this is highly illegal. But you can see where I'm coming from, right? Everyone would be like, I was at the Pai Gow table on the 3rd floor, near the Jade Empire wing. It was definitely the good table, dude. I won so many times. The other people are like, I was at the 7-card stud table down near the Britney Spears theater. That was definitely the high odds table, dude. I'm telling you. Because everybody in the casino right now, they know. And they're smarter than the casino because they know they're going to lose. How do you get the edge back on them? Because casinos clearly don't make enough money. You just trick people. No, if I owned a casino, I would just lie. I would take money for the chips. And then when people brought the chips back and were like, hey, I've got more money, I'd be like, oh, sorry, we don't have enough. Come back tomorrow. And then when they came back the next day, it wouldn't even be a casino. Turns out it was just an old Blockbuster with a slot machine in it. You got grifted, son. It's not a good way to run a business, I think. Maybe you should just, like, if you got the money to open a casino, can you just do that, by the way? Like, if I was, like, Warren Buffett, could I just be like, hey, I would like to build a casino here. I understand you gotta, great damage, by the way. I understand you gotta run it by, you know, there's some proposals, you know, it can't be this close to a school, and, you know, probably can't be this close to blah, blah, and blah, blah. But it's not like the kind of thing where, does something have to go through City Hall? I'm actually gonna keep gambling on this right here. What an ironic statement. I don't think it's bad to take glitter bombs here. What I'm getting at is, like, can you just, is it one of those businesses where, you know, maybe you gotta run it by the Chamber of Commerce or something, but presumably, if I wanted to open a Subway, for example, not a metro line, but a sandwich shop, I would franchise it through Subway, you know, I would get the property, I'd go to the Chamber of Commerce, and, you know, I'd have a business plan, and I'd be like, here, I want to build a Subway here, and they'd be like, approved. You just do that with a casino? Seems like the kind of thing, A, it's pretty expensive, because you need, like, a big space. Obviously, a lot of parking, a lot of staff. You gotta pay Phil Collins, like, $100 million to play 200 shows a year, etc., etc. We'll just get Chris Angel. Oh, he's already at the MGM Grand. But still, it doesn't seem like one of those businesses you can just open. But I'm probably incorrect, to be honest with you. I am going to take Spirit of the Night. Probably shouldn't. I'm in a bad habit of taking, like, every deal with the devil that shows up. But this is a good one, at least. Alright, Curse of the Lost. We're way behind schedule for Boss Rush, which is kind of surprising for me because, I mean, we do have 8.43 damage. Rate of fire wasn't great before, but is quite good now. Maybe I just got distracted with the casino talk and the endless lectures about North America and Europe, and how can you be part of the North American Union if you're not part of the blah blah? And then you don't even get me started on the Benelux countries. Dude, Safety Scissors has, like, extremely paid out for us. Why does it still feel like our damage is trash? Maybe because it's like... No. Maybe because it's like, we're doing 8.43 damage per shot with a good rate of fire. The tears don't do anything after they hit. Well, it's not true. They pierce, but... Not good enough. Not good enough. They don't, like, explode. They don't freeze the enemy in place. They don't do more damage the further away from me they get, which reminds me that we're probably due for a Krampus fight, especially because we've had Goathead for 100 years, but... Let's go back and re-roll the Kidney Bean. I guess also our speed is not that great, so that can inhibit you when it comes to finishing a run relatively quickly. This is an opportunity, though. Rate of fire got a lot worse, as did range, but speed and damage went up. Let's give this a test. I'm telling you, most of the time, eventually, you'll get like an almost guaranteed better run. As long as you're okay with sacrificing like your range stat or maybe your speed stat. I'd rather not sack speed here, but red chest guppy, right? It's fine, it's fine. Doesn't even bother me. We didn't get hurt on the exit either. Damage has gone way down. Speed is down. Rate of fire is up a little. This is not catastrophic, but it's much worse than what we started with. Not even the first roll. The first roll was actually an improvement. This is a regression beyond the original starting point. That's fine. 2 more rooms after this, we should be good. Thumbtack. Don't need it, honestly. We already have spectral and piercing shots. Please, Lord. It's taking a little too much effort to take these guys out. Even, like, I feel weird about it, but 5.93 damage is quite good. It's funny how, like, when you're normally playing as Maggie, 0.91 speed before you unlock that speed pill. It always seems bad, but it never seems, like, horrible. I think, at least. After you're up at, like, 1.2 speed, which we were for a bit, now it feels like this is torturous. It's like we've had a privilege snatched away from us. And it hurts even more than if we'd never known it at all. It's like, is it better to have loved and lost, you know, City of Angels situation? I'm not talking about Los Angeles. I'm talking about the movie City of Angels, which may have taken place in Los Angeles, but was also literally about Nicolas Cage being an angel. Like, our speed just keeps getting worse. Our rate of fire keeps getting better, and our damage is kind of flip-flopping, but our speed is just terrible now. This is one of the rare times, I mean, I guess we should be honest, like, if your stats can get way better as a result of, the D8, they can probably get way worse. Pair throw. Well, we got another instance at least. Dude, we still definitely have a shop. AWAS. I'm hoping for Degas. Alges. Which was also an AWAS, or maybe, I don't know. Well, we do have tarot cloth, so. I think that actually might be for the best. Sure, we got a damage downgrade, or a rate of fire downgrade, without a damage increase. Our speed is now high enough. I would like to shoot faster. I won't, you know, lie to you on that one. But this isn't that bad. So many bombs. Hilarious. I don't necessarily think more options is worth it here. That is huge. Let's take this. Oh, that's actually garbage. Let's donate as much money as we can. Donation machine making, like, very, very slow progress up there. If we have the money left over, we might buy theirs options, but I doubt it's that valuable. Really, it only gives us something on the Womb 1. Is it worth 7 cents to have an extra charge on the Womb 1? I would say no. I think Egghead blocked a shot as we did that. Get missing page 2. Alright, well, we kind of like made our bed, now we have to lie in it with this whole D8 situation. I would rather have some V8 right now, I'll tell you that. You know what? I wouldn't. I'm happier to have the D8 than V8. V8, of course, is vegetable juice. I don't know. I don't think that's a Canadian brand. I'm not sure. V8 performed one of the greatest marketing lies. I guess I shouldn't say that it's a lie because I don't know if that's true. V8, I mean, no, I don't mean to defame you here. But V8 juice when I was a kid was like, who wants to eat carrot juice? That's gross. And then they came out with a product called V8 Splash that was just vegetable juice mixed with fruit juice and sugar. And then all of a sudden, everybody was drinking it. They were like, it's vegetable juice, but it tastes good. They broke the mold. This is before, like, I was old enough to be cynical about pseudo-health products. But, yeah, it wasn't very good for you. But it made you think that it was good for you, which may placebolically have had a little bit of an effect. If only medical science can come up with some name for the effect that a placebo has on you when you don't know that it's a placebo. So we're actually, I mean, first off, we're scared. But we want to go to the light side path. So we'll take this. You might think I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I promise you that. Hey, Talon Face, thank you. Now that we got the Polaroid, I wanna play this and like hopefully get something half decent out of Demon Judgment. And you know, he's let us down for the final time. Retro Vision, beautiful. With 2 luck, we could have taken a Thame, but I don't think it's the right call. It's just a little too scary, I think. with the limited amount of HP that we have. But I do think we'll get a win here. That doesn't really affect it. We need a lot of things, and the interesting thing is that everything that we need could pretty much be accomplished by one good roll of the D8. Rate of fire is actually completely fine. If the rate of fire wanted to go up by 2, I wouldn't even be mad, assuming that it came with a corresponding amount of damage. But we need more than 4.77 damage. I think the D8 has been a bust so far. Should have just stuck with what we had the first time, but where's the fun in that, right? 2 of hearts. Not useful yet. May well never be. Speed up, along with a spirit heart, is very good. And our speed is actually totally acceptable. HP is now at a better level. We're still hurting for a squirtin' in the damage department. It's like these guys should not be taking that many shots to kill. So we get a much better, like doubled our damage, halved our rate of fire. So we're almost in the exact same boat. So we'll try it again. Okay, this is better. Our rate of fire and our damage are both better than they were before. We're also only 1 item away from becoming Guppy. So as of right now, I'm pleased with where we're at. I might keep rolling because I don't know what's good for me, but have to cross that bridge when we come to it, I suppose. We did not. Egghead is the greatest of all items. Okay. That's it. We should... Don't press your luck too much further. We kind of got it there. Rate of fire is amazing. Damage is good. And we got piercing shots. Range is, like, not very good at all, but still, that's not that bad in the whole scheme of things, is it? Yeah, this is like a Gatling gun. I think I'm okay with this. I've probably had better outcomes with the D8, but this is beyond acceptable. It was worth the loss of the D6. Probably. That's what I'm going to tell myself, at least. But I'm also going to keep rolling. Hey, we did it again. Damage has gone up. Speed's gone up at the cost of our range. Range is almost getting into, like, #1 territory. But not quite. Tower. We still have safety scissors, so I don't think we're ever gonna use these bombs. I can't. The last run was kind of like this as well. Or was it? Wait a minute. Do I know what I'm talking about? The last run might not have been like this at all. The run is so long, despite our good stats. Like, we never even sniffed at boss rush past the 3rd or 4th floor. Doubled our damage, halved our rate of fire, lost some speed, gained some range. It's like worse, but not by much. I don't think we need that. Have we already seen Guppy's head? I can't recall. We got 2 Guppy items. Don't remember what they were, though. One of them was clearly the hairball. Sorry, one of them was clearly the collar, I mean. Because I can see it in the item bar, but also we've got ×1 question mark by our health bar. What was the other one? Retro. That was my bad. I took the retrovision pill. I just can't resist being trolled like that. Small rock. One of these days. Halved our damage. Greatly raised our speed. Made our rate of fire slightly better. We're back in the two charge shuffle, as I like to call it. I've been saying it for years. It's when you have to, you know, double down on using your spacebar item. Nah, it's not very good. The strength card is awesome, though, because we have goat heads, so we can use the strength card to make our deals with the devil much cheaper, especially if we get 2 of them. That was almost the greatest, like, self-own on a dodge ever. Card, please? Card? Okay, that was... By card, I mean battery. Not a good day for the old verbal reasoning center. Apparently. What do you got for me? Conquest. What's in your head? In your head. Conquest, conquest, conquest. Is there a Donkey Kong Country game with Conquest in its Donkey Kong Country name? Razor Blade. We're back down in the 5s on damage, and I hate it. Oh! Reroll my whole run. I'm ready. The run's fine, but I welcome the Zane. Strength is still good. Stick with that. I'm looking for, I guess like starter deck would make it so that we can get cards out of this, but good pills. Speed. Retrovision. Telepills. Telepills yet again. Just keep getting charges. We're getting close to, like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it territory, which I wouldn't expect you to know what that means, because essentially it has no relation to what I'm about to say, but if we get a good state as far as our stats are, we shouldn't mess with it anymore, I think. We should just roll with it. Because right now, we're always like, it's some gift of the Magi stuff. We're always trading a good stat to make another stat good. But over time, like, occasionally we walk it up a little bit, so, like, all of our stats that matter come up. Occasionally we walk it down a little bit. Like, that was good. More than doubled our damage, halved our rate of fire. But I worry if we do it again, who knows? We're gonna, you know, 20 damage and a 20 rate of fire. That's not nearly as good. If my math checks out. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Well, extremely good. Stick with this. Never change it. Only our speed stat stinks here. Our damage and rate of fire are both amazing. See, what did I tell you? You stick with me, you're gonna go far. After 18 rolls, we finally got a good permutation. In fact, the best permutation we could have asked for. I don't know if it actually gets much better than this, because 4 might be the tier cap as far as our existing parameters go. But what if we did just one more roll? No, you're the devil on my shoulder. You're the icing on the cake on the table in my wake. To quote Modest Mouse. Yeah, that's right. That ain't no float on reference. We go for the deep cuts here. Absolutely. Let's give it a try. Gimpy. Good pickup. Rotten Baby. Great pickup. 2 of the best 1 heart items. We lucked out big time there. And that was all for the low cost of a strength card, because that HP was not going with us long term. Okay, this would be a great time for Egghead. Didn't work out. However, it didn't work out twice, but it was still the right decision to check. Well, at this point, we know the chest is coming up. Don't really want that. We're not really using our existing spacebar item, but we also just don't care about Mr. Boom. We already have 58 bombs. The bombs are good. We could use a better spacebar item. What constitutes a better spacebar item? Shoop to whoop, 10 out of 10 right now. Anything that gives us HP. You know, Mama Mega for the chest. Here I go again. My, how can I resist you? Lots of stuff. I mean, all the items that are good are still good. Probably. Even if we can get the D6 back. That would be... D100? I don't think we've got it unlocked yet, but you're a sly fellow. And or lady. What's the analog to fella? Dame? Trying to think. I feel like there's more names for guys than there are for women. You got, you know, fella, sir, jabroni, nincompoop. I think I might be off the rails here. Well, we will pick up these bombs needlessly. We really did luck out with that roll. I have 12 damage, 13 damage really, and a 4 rate of fire is solid. Better than solid. It's like a particularly dense mineral, like a quartz or something like that. He said, hoping that quartz was a dense mineral because he knows nothing about rocks. I know that there's a mineral called coming tonight. I know that there's a property of, you know, geological bodies called cleavage. That's about it. You know, I lived with an engineering student pretty much all throughout university. He was always laughing about cleavage, less so about coming tonight. I found that one out on the internet as I learned most of my knowledge in this life. I don't know why I was waiting for like a deal with the devil to show up there. So this is a big one. We're gonna unlock the relic. Thanks for prompting my memory there. The relic is a great passive item. I'll be very happy to have it. Don't care. I care. I'm for it. Don't care. Like, super don't care. In fact, I actually shouldn't care about rubber cement because our range is low enough that it's almost never going to work for us. That is not takeable. We're at lower than... I feel like this is... I'm a fraud saying this. We're at lower than Maggie's base speed because Maggie's base speed is 1 now, isn't it? When she takes the pill? Or is it 0.9 when she takes the pill? Luck stat is 2, so it wouldn't be surprised if we got like 1 or 2 extra items here. Already got the 1, I guess. So it's time for us to sink our teeth into the 2 and maybe the 1 and the 2 and here we go. What was our synergy with safety scissors? Oh, it was the glowing hourglass, right? You could create like unlimited extra bombs for yourself using one of your 5 glowing hourglass charges. I read it out a couple episodes ago. I remember. I vaguely remember it now. Start a pronunciation war argument in the comments. I vaguely remember eating a plagued bagel for supper yesterday on my Chesterfield. It's like a how Canadian are you test. A plagued bagel is not really a real thing. But a Chesterfield is. Supper is just what... I mean, I think it's a Britishism. We inherited a lot of our discourse, or dialect from England, for sure. We don't call it high school up here. At least, like, where I grew up, we didn't call it high school. We call it secondary school. If someone asked you, you know, what level of school are you in? We'd be like, I'm in high school. If we wrote it down on a form, we'd say, I'm a secondary school student. No question. For me, at least. Some people call it supper instead of dinner. What should we eat for supper? I'm trying to think of the other ones. I don't know. I've never been to England. That's not true. I went to England for a week. That's just immediately undermined my own point. Okay, Book of Revelations. We'll take it. It's worth something. I suppose we could also actually use remote detonator here. Get into some funky times. I sampled all of the great English culture. I ate at Greg's. And also Wotherspoons. And also, what was that place called? Piet? I drank a Newcastle Brown Ale. I went to a pub that had an old-timey name like, you know, the Swan and Rhinoceros, and then found out that it was owned by this company that owns, like, infinity pubs in England. Really messed up on that one. I ate fish and chips and then posted about it on Twitter, and everyone said, those aren't real fish and chips, and I said, well, that's... you guys aren't being very nice. Everyone... I don't understand. It's like the way I feel about poutine, I guess. Sometimes people will tweet me a photo of poutine, and I go, it looks like it tastes good, but that's not poutine, because poutine uses cheese curds, and... you know, you don't have enough gravy coverage there, and also the french fries are way too thinly cut. I mean, what is this, McDonald's? And then they're probably just like, shut up. This is my lunch. Stop making fun of my lunch. Everyone was like, those aren't... hey, you come to a chip truck of the north of Battersea, and you'll find out what a real, you know, you got... I bet it probably even cost you 10 quid to eat those. I was like, come on, dude, I'm a tourist. Just let me Let me be ignorant and then post this picture and act as if I understand other cultures. It's not a real fish and chips unless they serve you out of an old trash can in the back of a newspaper. Anyway, you get the idea. Thanks for watching. We got Celtic Cross, also pretty good. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.